Now it is time to introduce and bring to the couch our guest co-host, who is a traffic researcher and consultant at MA Traffic Consulting, and we'll be finding out if the evolution of traffic planning means lesser traffic jams for us all. Yes, please welcome Dr. Mostafa. How are you today?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you very much for having me on the show.
An absolute pleasure, and quite fitting because, you know, I did speak earlier about the problems that a lot of us have on the roads and how Dubai, the officials are just always on top of it. I feel like any issue is identified, next thing you know, there is something being built to make our lives easier. Why is that? Why is Dubai so on the pulse with that?
I mean, I'm really fortunate to be in a position to compare because I spent like 14 years of my life in the UK, where again, bureaucracy is a bit different how it is in Dubai. And things do get done much quicker here. I think we have a very short chain of command, and we have really amazing leadership team, starting with the very senior guys right at the top, and the people surrounding our amazing leadership. They really know, I guess, they're on the vibe. They're connected to the kind of this invisible, line or achievement that Dubai has to kind of perform to, and they know exactly what needs to be done most of the times. And if they don't, there's a very quick correction. There's always, we always have feedback, we always have the press, we have media, so it's very easy to get the point across, and we're not afraid of doing things. Dubai is really a doing city.
And we're always finding new things to do as well. And correct me if I'm wrong, Doctor, but the impression that I've got is that there's been a bit of a mentality shift when it comes to designing the city. It was a lot of highways and cars, and now there's been a push for more walkable areas. Do you think it's possible to integrate the two together?
I mean, we're again very fortunate that we have our Crown Prince is a fan of cycling. So we have so many cycling tracks, we have so many facilities for cyclists. And you see the take-up of the sport, I mean, has been amazing since I've come back to the UAE. And we're very fortunate to have an amazing metro system, which carries, again, I think more than 500,000 passengers a day. So it's we're looking at other modes of transport because cars were suitable for the earlier stages of growth of the city, but nowadays we need to look at alternatives like mass transport systems. Yeah.
Absolutely, and we've got trains coming into play as well now between Dubai and Abu Dhabi. So tell us a little bit about sustainability and Dubai's kind of goal with the whole net zero initiative, and how you see that kind of morphing the traffic system in the UAE.
So it's interesting. I mean, growing up here, you don't tend to notice how many trucks we have on the roads here. But when I spent some time in the UK and then came back, I'm like, hang on, Europe doesn't have so much road transport of cargo as we do in Dubai. And it's one of the reasons is because we haven't got a rail network. We haven't got an alternative means of transportation. So now we've got that, and we've also got the Dubai Canal, which is, again, a water transport system. So I think dependence on road transport is going to, in terms of cargo, is going to come down a bit, and we're going to have more space for passengers to use those systems.
Now, of course, we say this again and again on this show, we are the city of the future. But talk to me about the future of urban traffic right here in the city itself.
So we're very fortunate. I mean, the RTA has announced an air taxi, which hopefully should be launching sometime soon. We always see developments in terms of capacity. I mean, I was at an event a couple of weeks ago between Dubai Police, the RTA, and public schools and the KHDA in Dubai, where they were talking about traffic for schools specifically to try and tackle that issue and those bottlenecks. So it's very nice to see how stakeholders come together to try and predict and solve these problems for the future.
I want to ask you a little bit, Dr. Mostafa, about some of the work that you personally have been doing over the past few months or past few years.
So I've had a very interesting trajectory in my life. I was an academic for a long time, a researcher at university. I have a bachelor's degree in automotive engineering and then a PhD in transportation safety. So my study was based around the traffic accidents in Dubai and how and why they happen and how we can save lives on the roads in Dubai. Then I worked as an accident investigator. So I've investigated over 300 crashes in the UK, and it's a very interesting field because it's a really in-depth investigation. You look at over you spend more than 30 minutes on each car. So looking at details like the seat angle, the seat belt use, so many things, because it's important, lives are valuable, and human life is really, you can't really put a value on that. So it's really important to understand how and why people get injured on the roads and how we can minimize that.
Dr. Mostafa, we do our research here on this show. I want to take you back to the part where you spoke about, your passion for automotive. On your website, a little ode to the F1. You've been involved in some capacity.
Well, we've been fortunate enough to use the F1 track in Abu Dhabi to test our first car. So again, I have a crazy friend from childhood who, again, I have to mention him, Rashid Al-Shaali. He's a car nut just like me, and he approached me around 2012. He's like, Mustafa, why don't we build a car? Like, okay, you want to build like a Dubai-based car? He's like, yes, we want to build the car from scratch. So we started in 2012. In 2015, we tested it at the Yas Marina circuit. In 2017, we showed the second prototype at the Dubai International Motor Show. And then things wound down a bit because, again, it was a really exciting challenge that we went through. We learned a lot through it. And we got to meet lots of amazing people. But it was time, I think, to move on to other things. But it's really because I've been working on cars since I was 12 years old. I used to change tires, change the oil, change the brakes. So I wanted to put that knowledge to good use. And now I use it in car consulting. So like I help people when they want to buy a new car or they need advice on how to fix their car or what to do with the car. That's where I come in and I can, again, help them from my depth of experience.
I need you on speed dial, I think.
Absolutely. Speaking of your knowledge, don't go anywhere because we need you to help us chat to a shark that is roaming around our buildings. Amira Sajwani is joining us in the studio to talk about Shark Tank, but also Dubai's real estate boom. Don't go anywhere.